Apologies for being a couple minutes behind. Alright. Like always, I definitely recommend a block or two. I also recommend a strap. If you don't have blocks, you can use Tupperware boxes, whatever you have accessible. For a strap, you can always use a towel, or a rope, or a belt. Just gonna wait a few more moments for people to wander in. Can you guys hear me okay? No. Can you guys hear me okay? Cool. Alright, we're going to start it momentarily. As always, I recommend having a block or two or something to use as a block, be it books, a box, Tupperware. I also recommend having something to use for a strap, be it a belt, piece of rope, a towel, whatever you have accessible. So, we're going to go ahead and get started. So, let's come to the back of the mat and start in child's pose. Spread your knees out nice and wide. One moment. So yeah, spread the knees nice and wide with the tops of your feet down on the earth. Bring your big toes to touch. Melt your hips down to your heels. And then walk your hands forward, bring your forehead down to the mat. Let your hands relax at shoulder width distance. Melt your shoulders away from your ears. Let your upper back, mid back, and lower back all relax. Bring your awareness to your hips. If your hips are feeling a little tight or tired, maybe bring your knees a little closer together. If they're feeling a little more open, maybe spread your knees a little wider. As you inhale, let your belly expand down towards the earth. And as you exhale, let your belly come back up towards your spine. Couple more breaths here. On your next inhale, rise up to tabletop. Stack your shoulders over your wrists, hips over your knees. Untuck the toes, bring your shins a little closer to the mat. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Inhale, cow pose. Drop your belly down. Turn your gaze up to the sky. Arch your tail up. And then exhale, cat pose. Arch your back up towards the sky. Bring your nose towards your belly button. Really tuck your tailbone underneath you. Inhale, cow. Drop the belly down. Turn the gaze high. And exhale, cat. Arch your back up. 3 more rounds. On the cow, make sure to draw your shoulder blades together and down your back. And on the cat, let your shoulders spread apart from one another. 2 more rounds. Come back to a neutral tabletop. Inhale your right hand up to the sky with your weight in your left hand. Exhale, thread the needle. Bring your right arm underneath your left arm. Bring your right shoulder down, left ear down. Right shoulder down, right ear down. Haha. Keep a a bend in your left elbow. I recommend stacking your elbow above your wrist in the left arm. That way, if you choose, you can press your hand into the earth to increase the twist of your spine. One more breath in and out. Inhale, slowly rise up. Reach your right hand back up to the sky. And then exhale it down. Switch sides. With your weight in your right hand, inhale your left hand up to the sky. And then exhale, thread the needle, bring your left arm underneath your right. Left shoulder down, left ear down. Option to relax here. Option to also press your right hand into the ground, increase the twist of your spine. One more breath in and out. Inhale your left hand back up to the sky, and then exhale it down. Let's open up the wrists and forearms a little bit. Rotate your hands to the left and right, so your left fingers point left, right fingers point right. Rotate the eye of your elbows towards one another, and start to rock left and right. I know a lot of us are working from home right now, working on a computer a lot more. Need to take care of our wrists and forearms. Then come back to center. Rotate your fingers back towards your knees. If they don't rotate back all the way, that's okay. If they only come back about like 45 degrees, you can choose a side. We'll say the left. Rock back so your left elbow goes towards your left fingertips. Inhale back to center. And then switch. Right elbow to right fingertips. Inhale center. Exhale left to left. Inhale center. Exhale right to right. For those who can get your fingers back all the way towards your knees, just rock back and forward a few rounds. Couple more rounds here. And then rotate your fingers back forward. Walk your hands closer to your knees. Bring the backs of your hands down, fingers face one another. Create fists with both hands, elbows nice and bent, and then bring the ring side of your knuckles together. So you have two fists on the ground, up against each other, backs of your hands down to the earth. Inhale with the knees bent. Exhale, start to straighten the arms. Maintain your fists nice and tight so you feel a good stretch in the back of the forearms and wrist. Inhale, bend. Exhale, extend. Inhale, bend. Exhale, extend. Last one. Inhale. And exhale. Come back to center. All right. Go ahead and rock back onto your heels for a moment. You can have your toes tucked. If you have a block and this is uncomfortable, you can bring a block underneath your glutes, so your block would sit on kind of your Achilles tendon area and the heel a little bit. You can always also place a block underneath your knees as well, or combination of the two. Whatever's most comfortable for you and your body. From here, grab opposite elbows to take a bear hug. Stack your elbows on top of one another. So this is version 1 of the arm bind. Version 2 is eagle arm bind, where you would you would cross the elbows and then wrap the arms. Whichever variation feels more comfortable for you and your body. With your elbows up at shoulder height, send your arms away from your torso. Inhale, lift the gaze, lift the heart, lift the elbows up. And then exhale, curl the spine, bring your elbows forward and down towards your pelvis, bring your chin to chest. Inhale, lift the gaze, lift the heart. Exhale, curl and round. One more. Inhale up. Kind of cat-cows here, but with this arm bind helping release tension in the upper back area. Come back to center. Release the arms. Maybe take a couple shoulder rolls. Now we're going to switch sides. Bring your other arm under. So I had right arm under, left on top on the first round. Now left under, right on top. You can either take the bear hug or the eagle arm bind. From here, send your arms forward. Inhale, lift the heart, lift the gaze, lift the arms up high, still sending them forward, away from your torso. And then exhale forward and down. Bring your elbows towards your pelvis, chin to chest, curl the spine. Inhale, lift the heart, lift the gaze. Exhale, curl and round. One more. Inhale, lift the heart and gaze. And then exhale, curl and round. Unwrap. Come back to tabletop. From tabletop, walk your hand forward one handprint. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, high plank. And then just shift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Bend your left knee, straighten your right leg. Keep your hips square to the floor. Send your right heel down towards the earth. Start to wake up your calf and hamstring on this side. And then switch sides. Bend the right knee, straighten the left leg. Once more, keep the hips fairly square to the ground. Switch. And switch. You can take a couple more rounds of switching back and forth if you need. Otherwise, send your heels down towards the earth. Really spread your fingers wide. Shift some of your weight out of your wrists and into your thumb and forefinger. Let your shoulders descend away from your ears. Press your chest towards your thighs and then your thighs for the back wall. Create this upside down V with your body. If you still have a curve in the spine, you can bend the knees to remove some stretch from your hamstrings to find a flatter back. From here, inhale, look forward. Exhale, ragdoll pose. Walk your feet behind your wrists. Feet remain shoulder width distance. A generous bend in your knees so your low belly rests on your thighs. Grab opposite elbows. Let your head hang heavy. Feel free to stay here. And when you grab opposite elbows, your right hand grabs the left elbow, left hand grabs the right elbow. Create a box shape with the arms. Again, option to stay here. Option to sway your torso left and right. Let it tick and talk, like the pendulum of a grandfather clock. And do note that your head and arms just dangle. What's really moving is from the low back, helping open the low back. Come back to center. Grab your strap, grab your towel, whichever you have accessible. Take that behind your back. Keep your hands about shoulder width distance this time. Grasp it with both hands, and then send your fists up overhead. Start to wake up the front of your shoulders in the anterior deltoid area. One more breath in, and out. One last breath in, and out. Relax the arms down. Set your strap aside. Set your towel down, whichever you used. Slowly roll up to a stand, stacking one vertebra at a time, with your head remaining heavy until you reach the top. When you do reach the top, take a couple shoulder rolls. Both directions. Now draw your hands together, heart center, and close your eyes. For today's intention, I offer up the intention of just being present. Being present in this room, on your mat, in your body, in this moment. Our bodies are constantly changing. Try to pay attention to what your body needs in this moment. Maybe it's to hold the pose a little longer, maybe a little shorter. If you need to rest, you can always come back to child's pose, the big pose at the beginning of class. Or just take Shavasana, corpse pose, with on your back, legs and feet down on the ground, until you're ready to get back in the flow. Really try to give your body exactly what it needs today. To help seal this intention, exhale all your air. Inhale through your nose, fill up. Open mouth, exhale, let it go. Release your hands down to your sides, flutter your eyes open. Toe heel your feet together, big toes to touch. Tiny sliver of space between your heels. So I'm going to be cueing with feet together for most of class. If you are feeling a little wobbly, you can have your feet hip width distance. Just ignore my cues for feet together. But generally speaking, I recommend trying to have the feet together, big toes touching, a little bit of space between the heels. Inhale, mountain pose, reach your arms up to the sky. Pull your quads up off your kneecaps, tuck the tailbone slightly, draw your navel towards your spine, draw your shoulder blades together and down your back. Inhale, lengthen your neck high. Exhale, forward fold. Hands can either melt to heart center or swan dive down, up to you. Inhale, halfway lift, parallel your spine to the ground. Try to find a nice flat back with your shoulder blades together and down your back. Gaze is down about 6 inches to 12 inches in front of your mat. Again, palms is either on your shins or your thighs. You want to avoid the knees. If you have a curved spine, just like in down dog, you can bend the knees to remove some stretch from your hamstrings to find a flatter back. Inhale, lengthen your neck forward. Exhale, high plank and hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower all the way down. Untuck your toes, zip up your legs together. Draw your hands back so your fingertips are at nipple level. Press the tops of your feet down, engage your legs, lift the knees up. Little to no weight in your hands. Use your low back. Lift your chest up off the ground. Gaze is down to about a foot in front of your mat. Inhale. And exhale, lower down. Bring your hands back underneath your shoulders. You have the option to come up into tabletop or press up into high plank. And then exhale, downward facing dog. So that's our sun A. We're going to flow through it 2 more times, moving 1 breath to 1 movement. Everyone come down to your knees for a moment. I'm just going to show you a couple other transitions you can use besides the baby cobra. So I think I've done in class before the locust instead of baby cobra, where it's pretty much the same, except you reach the hands back. As you lift up, you also lift the arms up. This helps work the upper back and the posterior delts area. And then come back down. And then press up and back. Another very common version is a pose called Chaturanga Dandasana. This is a high to low plank, commonly just referred to as Chaturanga. You start in a high plank, just like we did when we came back from halfway lift. Shift forward onto your tip toes, and then with your elbows still tucked in, you lower halfway down, so your elbows meet your ribs. You don't let your shoulders go down past your elbows to protect your rotator cuff. Hips are up in line with your shoulders. Then inhale, upward facing dog. Stack your shoulders over your wrists. Engage the legs to lift the knees up, but let your hips sink down. And then exhale, downward facing dog. So that's the full variation. A slightly easier variation from the high plank, you would shift forward and then drop down to the knees. Your toes can stay touching or lifted. That's completely up to you. Then you would lower halfway down. And then inhale, upward facing dog. Lift the knees back up. And then exhale, downward facing dog. So for the purpose of today's class, I'm going to be cueing to Chaturanga. You can take Chaturanga, you can take Chaturanga on your knees, you can take baby cobra, you can take locust. You can also just skip it all together, hold high plank for a breath, and then come back to down dog. The whole point of this little sequence is called a vinyasa. It gets you back to downward facing dog, gets you back to home base. So we're going to meet back in down dog and flow through our sun salutation A 2 more times. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, walk, step, jump, float to the top of your mat. Bring your feet together at the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Parallel your spine once more. Exhale, forward fold. Straight legs, reach down. Inhale, mountain pose. Through your arms up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, Chaturanga. Remember, you can always take it on your knees. You can always take baby cobra or locust instead, or skip altogether. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. 1 more time through. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, travel to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, mountain pose. Reverse swan dive up to the sky. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, Chaturanga. Plant your palms, step back. lower halfway down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Shine your heart forward, and then exhale, downward facing dog. Take one breath in and out. Moving on to Sun Salutation B. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step or walk up to the top of your mat. Travel there. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose. So shift your weight into your heels. Bend your knees. Sink your hips back and down. You still want your knees above either the center of your feet or your ankles. Squeeze the thighs together. Sink the hips back and down. Float your biceps up by your ears. You're creating a lightning shape with the body. You want to make sure to have the tailbone slightly tucked to lengthen your low back. So something to note here. This is still chair pose. So is this. Anywhere in between here is chair pose. You just want to go to your depth, the depth that your body is capable of. So with your thighs squeezing together, sink your hips back and down 1 more inch, and then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, chaturanga, plant your palms, step back, lower halfway down, or do whatever variation you're doing. Inhale, upward facing dog, shine your heart forward. Exhale, downward facing dog. Moving on, leave your left heel low. Keep your hips as square to the mat as much as you can. Inhale your right foot up and back. Flex your right toes towards your face. Drop your right hip so it's still in line with your left, so it's still square to the mat. Engage your right glute, lift your right heel up 1 inch higher. And then exhale, low lunge. Step your foot between your hands. Now, if your foot stops somewhere in between your left foot and your hands, you can always grab your ankle and assist it forward. From here, spiral the back heel down. Inhale, warrior 2. Stack your shoulders over your hips. Reach your arms for the front and back space. If you were to draw a line from your heel to the back of the mat, it would intersect with your back arch. Try to find that alignment. Float your front knee over your front ankle. Try to keep your hips and your shoulders square to the left side of your mat. I know I'm facing the wrong way. I'll go over all of this again, facing it the correct way towards the camera. Reach your fingers for the front and back space. Turn your gaze over your front fingertips. Inhale. Exhale, extend side angle. Drop your front arm down, forearm to the ground, to your thigh. Reach your back hand up to the sky. Now you can leave your forearm on your thigh here. You can also reach your arm on the inside of your front leg towards the ground. Please note that your torso doesn't really move whether you're on your forearm or reaching for the ground. Your torso stays put. And then turn your gaze up past your left fingertips. Inhale, reverse warrior. Leave your front leg where it is. Float your right arm up and back. Let your left arm slide down your back leg. So we want to keep the hips and shoulders square towards the left side of the mat to ensure that this is a side stretch rather than a back bend. Inhale. And exhale, chaturanga. Cartwheel your hands down. Reframe your front foot. Step back and flow through your variation of the vinyasa. Inhale, upward facing dog if you're taking chaturanga. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Left side. This time I'll actually be facing the camera. Inhale the left leg up and back. Melt your right heel low. Drop your left hip so your hips are still parallel to the ground. Flex your left toes toward your face. Engage your left hip glute to lift your heel up a little higher. And then exhale, low lunge. Assist your foot forward if you need. Spiral the back heel down. Inhale, warrior 2. Blossom open to the right side of the room. So, again, your hips and shoulders remain square to the right side of your mat. Front knee stacks over your front ankle. The back foot, your weight rolls into the knife edge, the outside edge of your back foot. And then really drive your arms to the front and back space. You can spread the fingers wide to activate the forearms. Inhale. Exhale, extend side angle, forearm to thigh. With the front arm, reach your back arm up to the sky. Turn your gaze up high. Again, you can choose to keep your forearm on your thigh. You can also reach your arm on the inside of your front leg. One more breath in. And out. Leave your front knee over your front ankle. Inhale, reverse warrior. Float your front hand up and back. Slide your back hand down your back leg. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, sink a little bit deeper in your reaching back. One more breath in. And exhale, chaturanga, cartwheel down. Step back, lower halfway down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in and out. Just a reminder, you can always switch what transition you're using. You can either use chaturanga on your knees, baby cobra, locust, or skip it all together. Up to you. Listen to your body. Inhale, look forward. 2 more rounds of sun salutation B. Exhale, travel forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose. Utkatasana, bend your knees, sink your hips back and down. Float your biceps up by your ears. Sink your hips as low as is comfortable. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga. Plant your palms, step back. Lower halfway down. Inhale, upward facing. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, your right leg up and back. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, warrior 2. Blossom open to the left side of the room. Then exhale, extend to side angle. Drop your front arm down, reach your back arm up. Your choice whether to reach for the ground or forearm to thigh. Inhale, reverse warrior. Float your front hand up and back. And then exhale, chaturanga, cartwheel down. You do have the option to keep the right foot lifted as you lower down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, your left leg up and back. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, warrior 2. Exhale, extend to side angle, tick-tock forward and down, turn your gaze up high. Inhale, reverse warrior, high five the back of the room with your left hand. Exhale, chaturanga, cartwheel down, step back and lower halfway. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Excuse me. One more time through. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, travel to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. Bend your knees, sink hips back and down. Float the biceps up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Draw your shoulder blades together and down your back. Exhale, plant your palms, step back, lower halfway down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, your right leg up and back. Let the left heel sink low. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, warrior 2. Stack your shoulders over your hips. Turn your gaze over front fingertips. Exhale, extend to side angle. Tick-tock forward and down. Turn your gaze up at the sky. Inhale, reverse warrior. Float your front hand up and back. Little to no weight in the backhand. Exhale, chaturanga. Cartwheel down. Step back and flow. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing dog. Last side. Inhale, your left leg up and back. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, warrior 2. Remember to tuck the tailbone slightly. Exhale, extend to side angle. Tick-tock forward and down. Inhale, reverse warrior. Slide your back hand down your back leg as you reach up and back with your front arm. And exhale down to the ground. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog, inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, bend your knees, have a seat. Feel free to get a sip of water, towel off. All right. Just take a few breaths seated here. All right. Start to make your way back to downward facing dog. From down dog, inhale your right leg up and back. Exhale, low lunge. Draw your foot between your hands. Gently set the back knee down. Place your right hand on your right thigh. Press yourself up to a kneeling position. Bring your left hand on top of your right thigh. So shoulders over hips, hips over knee. Draw your right hip back, left hip forward to square your hips to the front of the room. Engage your left glute. Press your left shin into the ground to release some pressure from your knee. But if you need, you can also always Fold up your mat so there's 2 layers of mat underneath your knee, or grab a towel or a small pillow and place it underneath the back knee, whatever's most comfortable for you. So come back to the kneeling lunge. Keep the shoulders back. Inhale. Engage left glute. Exhale, shift your hips forward and down. Lift your heart up towards the sky. Inhale, rise back up. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale, lift. We're going for a stretch in the front of your left hip on the way down. And exhale, forward and down. Keep the heart lifted. Inhale, rise. Exhale, settle. Inhale the arms up to the sky. So there are 2 options here. You can either take the open arm twist, bring the right hand back, left hand forward, twist your torso towards the front leg. You can either keep the arms out or press your front hand on the outside of your front thigh. The other option is from the arms up, bring the hands to heart center, lean forward, and then kneeling revolve crescent lunge with your left elbow on the outside of your right thigh. Create a straight line from elbow through wrist to opposite elbow. Press your elbow into your thigh while also pressing your top hand into your bottom hand. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Then exhale, twist your heart closer to your thumbs. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Maybe turn your gaze up at the sky to complete the twist in your neck, if that's comfortable in your neck. One more breath in and out. Look down. Bring your hands on the inside of your front foot for runner's lunge. Walk your right foot out to the right edge of your mat and a little forward to ankles in front of your knee. I also tend to walk my back leg back to bring my hips closer to the earth. Option to stay here on your palms. Option to also come down to your forearms, be it forearms to a block or forearms to ground. Let your hips sink low. Make yourself comfortable. Make any adjustments you need. Then let your head hang heavy. Option to nod your head yes. To shake your head no. To open and close your mouth, release your jaw. Feel a stretch in the front of your left hip, maybe in the right groin. Maybe the right hip flexor. 2 more breaths. Come back up to your palms if you're on your forearms. Set your blocks aside if you used a block. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. Step your right foot back to meet your left. Shift your weight to your left palm. Tilt your heels to the left. Slide your right foot up, halfway up the mat. Keep your hips stacked, shoulders stacked. You can rest your right hand on your right thigh and just slowly, gently lower the hips down towards the ground, but keep the left leg straight and engaged. We're going for a stretch in the left abductor area, abductor. So like your tensor fascia lata, the TFL, the top of the hip on the outer edge, just below the edge of the pelvis. One more breath in and out. Inhale, lift the hips back up, step back, high plank, reach your right arm up to the sky. You can always drop the bottom knee down for a modified side plank. Inhale, rainbow your hips up 1 inch higher, engage your core. And then exhale, plant your right palm, optional chaturanga, and make your way back to downward facing dog. Alright, from down dog, inhale your left leg up and back. Exhale, low lunge. Gently sit the back knee down. Bring a left hand to your left thigh, press up to a kneeling position, and bring your right hand to your right thigh, or right hand to your left thigh. Pull your left hip back, right hip forward. Tuck the tailbone slightly. Engage the right glute. Lift your heart up. Inhale. Exhale, hinge. Send your hips forward and down. Keep your heart lifted. Maybe gaze up. Inhale, rise back up. Maintain the engagement of your right glute. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale, rise. And exhale, sink. Inhale, rise back up. So we have the same options here. You can either reach the arms up and then take the open arm twist, draw your left hand back, right hand forward, Maybe bring the right hand to the outside of the left thigh, or drum the hands up, bring your hands to heart center, tilt forward, and then kneeling revolve crescent lunge. Hook your right elbow on the outside of your left thigh. As you inhale, lengthen your spine. As you exhale, twist a little bit deeper. Press your top hand into the bottom hand and then your elbow into the thigh to bring your heart closer to toward your thumbs. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Last inhale. And exhale. Turn your gaze down at the floor. Bring your hands on the inside of your front foot. Runner's lunge. Walk your left foot out to the left and a little forward so ankles in front of your knee. Maybe scoot your back knee back, back leg back a little bit to bring your hips further down. Option to stay here on your palms. Option to come down to your forearms. Whatever's most comfortable in your body and accessible with your flexibility. Let your head hang heavy no matter which variation you're in. The side might feel a little tighter or a little looser. Our bodies are asymmetrical. This is perfectly normal. Couple more breaths. One more breath in and out. Come back up to your palms. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Step back to high plank. Shift your weight to your right palm. Inhale. Send your heels to the right. And then slide your left foot up halfway up the mat. So you have a 90-degree bend in your knee and your ankle. You can rest your left hand on your left thigh and slowly send your hips down to the ground while your right leg remains engaged. Feel a stretch in the outside of your right hip, in the abductor, the abductor area. One more breath in and out. Inhale, bring the hips back up. Step the left foot back, high side plank. Reach the left arm up. You can always drop the bottom knee down for modification. Inhale, rainbow your hips up a little bit higher. And then exhale, plant the left palm. Optional, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, walk to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, mountain pose with your arms up to the sky. And then exhale, hands to heart center. We're going to do a little balance work here. Shift your weight into your... So first, actually, look at something in front of you that does not move. This could be a light switch, a hinge on a door, a doorknob, a spot on the wall, whatever it is. Something that doesn't move. Bring your gaze to this point. Do not remove your gaze from this point. This is your drishti, your focal point. It'll help with your balance. Moving on to tree pose, shift your weight into your left foot. Bend your right knee. Rotate the right leg out so your right knee points to the right. Keep your hips square to the space in front of you. Rest the ball of your foot on the ground and place the heel against your left thigh, or left leg rather. This is still tree pose. You can stay here. You can also slide your foot up to your calf or up to your inner thigh. If you need to assist it up with your hand, that's totally okay. And then just bring your hands back to heart center. Whatever variation you're in, either a ball of foot on the ground, foot to calf, or foot to thigh, slightly press your right foot into your left leg as much as you're pressing your left leg into your right foot. Find this isometric hold. You want to keep the left leg engaged in this. Let the right knee fall open while you keep the hips square to the space in front of you. You have the option to also grow your branches, to take an arm variation. This could be to reach out, reach up, reach forward, take a prayer position behind the back, or any combination thereof. Whatever your body is calling for. Two more breaths. Slowly bring your hands back to heart center. If you grew your branches, inhale your right leg forward, and exhale, set your right foot down. try to keep your hands at heart center. Shift your weight into your right foot. Bend the left knee, let the left knee fall open. Ball of foot can start on the ground with your heel against your leg. You can also slide your foot up to your calf or your inner thigh. Feel free to assist your foot up with your hand. Whatever variation of the foot you take, press the foot into the leg as much as pressing the leg into the foot. Find that isometric hold. Keep your hips square to the space in front of you, but let your left knee fall open. Feel free to stay here with your hands at heart center or to grow your branches, but I challenge you to take a different arm variation than you did on the other side. Whatever that variation could be for you. One more breath in and out. Inhale. If you grow your branches, exhale, bring your hands back to heart center. Inhale your left knee forward. Exhale, relax the left leg down. Relax your arms, shake all that out. Little Muppet dance here. Muppet-asana. Thank you, Elise, for teaching me that. Alright. Back to center, feet together. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And then we're going to just step the back leg back into a low lunge. So for the purpose of the video, I'm actually going to switch legs here so I can more accurately teach you the alignment while facing the camera. Spiral the back heel down. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, settle. So if you have a block, place it inside your leg about your knee level. So from here, straighten the front leg. We're really going to bump your hips to the back of the room. So your back hip will kind of come back and up. Your front hip will come down. So you're definitely unsquaring your hips from parallel to the earth, working more towards perpendicular. You won't necessarily reach perpendicular, but that's okay. With your arms, reach as far forward as you can. Reach until you can't reach any further. Then stop. Leave your torso where it is. Drop the front hand, lift the top hand, and all of a sudden you're in triangle pose. So your bottom hand can either rest on your shin or thigh. Little to no weight though. You want to keep the core engaged to help hold yourself up. If you need to, you can bring your fingertips to the block. Your gaze can either be down towards the side of the room or up towards the sky. Try to stack your shoulders, your right shoulder on top of your left shoulder, left on top of right. I'm facing the wrong way. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, maybe hinge your hips a little bit more. Feel a stretch in your hamstring, the medial hamstring specifically, the one closer to the midline of the body. One more inhale, and exhale. Inhale, rise back up to a stand. Rotate your front foot in so your feet are now parallel with one another. You can remove the block. Inhale, puff up your chest. Exhale, wide-legged forward fold. Grab what's accessible, your calves, ankles, feet. Use your biceps to gently pull yourself deeper. As you inhale, lengthen your spine. As you exhale, fold slightly more. 2 more rounds. Inhale, bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, come up to a stand. Exhale, warrior two to the front. Rebend your front leg. Reach for the front and back space. Inhale. Optional reverse warrior. And then exhale, cartwheel down. Step your back leg forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. So now we're going to do the same thing, other side. Step the other leg back. So this should be your right leg back. Then spiral the back heel down. Inhale, warrior two. Shoulders over hips. Reach for the front and back space. Feel free to prep a block about your knee level, going away from your hips on the tall setting. Straighten your front leg. Bump your hips to the back of the room. Reach your arms as far forward as you can. Reach. Until you can't reach any further, then stop. Drop your front hand. Lift the back hand rather. And triangle. This is triangle pose. You can bring your fingertips to your block, hand to your shin or thigh. You can always also reach for the ground on the inside of the leg, just like an extended side angle. Maybe turn your gaze from the ground to the wall or up towards the sky. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, maybe hinge a little bit deeper, feel a little bit more of a stretch in the hamstring. Last inhale. And exhale. Inhale, slowly come back up. Rotate the front foot in once more. We're going to take a chest expansion in this next forward fold. You can either just interlace your hands, try to keep the heels of your palms together. If this is not accessible, grab your strap, grab your towel, grip that in your hands, as close together as is comfortable. I'm going to demonstrate with the strap. Inhale, puff up your chest. Exhale, wide-legged forward fold with the chest expansion. Hinge forward just like we did before and float the hands up over the head. Again, you can use the strap. You can also interlace your hands. Keep the heels of your palms together to help protect your arms, protect your shoulders. Keep a micro bend in your elbows. Do not hyperextend the elbows. Inhale, lengthen your neck, your spine. Exhale, fold, bring your fists a little further forward over your head. One more breath in and out. Release the arms, bring them out to a T. Inhale, slowly rise up. And exhale, warrior two. Inhale, optional, reverse warrior. And then exhale, cartwheel down. Reframe your front foot. Step forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, come down to a seat. Lengthen your legs in front of you. So we're going to do a couple stretches for the hamstrings here. So grab your strap. First, we're going to take care of the lateral hamstrings. The hamstrings further away from the midline, so closer to the outer edge of the leg. Place your strap on the bottom of your feet. Grab your strap with both hands as far as is comfortable while sitting up tall, and then clasp that hand with the other hand. So the straps are both in one hand, just FYI. Inhale, puff up the chest. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Try to keep the back nice and flat. Hinge your belly closer to your thighs. Walk your hands forward on the strap until you find your depth, and then clasp both straps in one hand, and then cup that hand with the other hand. You want to keep the shoulders square towards the front of your mat, towards your feet. Inhale, puff up, lengthen your heart towards your toes. Exhale, fold a little bit deeper. Now, if you don't have a strap, you can always just grab your calves, your ankles, your feet to gently pull yourself a little bit deeper. Maybe take your peace fingers, your index and middle finger, and wrap them around your big toes. 2 more breaths. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. And fold. Release your grip, remove your strap, slowly sit up. Now for the medial hamstrings. So generally speaking, when your legs are perpendicular to your hips, just like they are with your feet together, you're stretching the lateral hamstrings. When your feet are further apart from one another, you're stretching the medial hamstrings. So we're going to start just by sitting up nice and tall, and then exhale, hinge forward. Walk your hands forward on the mat, or grab your calves, ankles, or feet and gently pull yourself forward. Try to have your gaze down to lengthen your neck. Inhale, puff up your chest. Lengthen your heart forward, and then exhale, hinge a little bit deeper at the hips. Try to keep the back fairly flat. One more breath in and out. All right. Inhale, slowly come up. Now we're going to do a stretch for the low back while in this wide-legged position. Take your right hand. Place it on the outside of your left leg. Place your left hand about a foot to your left of the left leg. Square your shoulders towards your left leg. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, hinge at your hips. Walk your hands forward on your left leg until you can't reach any further. Then gently use your bicep to pull yourself slightly deeper. You should feel a stretch in the right side of your low back. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hinge. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, slowly come up. Switch sides. Bring your left hand on the outside of your right leg. Right hand can rest about a foot to the right of your leg. Inhale, lengthen your heart towards your toes with your shoulder square towards your right foot. Then exhale, hinge forward. Walk your hand forward and then use your bicep to gently pull yourself a little bit deeper. Feel a stretch in your left low back this time. Once more, try to keep the back fairly flat. One breath in and out. Slowly come up. And then bring both feet together. For those who work with half pigeon, feel free to take that. Otherwise, we're going to do supine pigeon, reclining pigeon, supine figure 4, whatever you want to call it. Slowly come down to your back. Bend your knees, bring your heels close to your glutes. Feet and knees remain hip width distance. Cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Flex your right toes towards your right knee. Grab your left hamstring with both hands. Your right hand will reach between your legs. And gently pull your left knee towards your chest. If you're able to get your knee close enough, you can move your hands from your hamstring to your shin. Whatever is accessible and comfortable in your body. Perhaps ever so gently press your right elbow into your right thigh to help square your shin to the ceiling. To help open up the hip a little bit more. Two more breaths. Inhale one more. And exhale, release the leg. Bring the left foot down. Right foot down. Switch legs. Cross your left ankle over your right thigh. Flex your left toes towards your left knee. Let your left knee fall open. Grab your right hamstring with both hands. And then gently pull your right knee towards your chest. Again, if you're able to get your knee close enough, maybe bring your hands to your right shin instead. Maybe ever so slightly press your left elbow into your left thigh to help increase the rotation of your leg a little bit. Inhale. And exhale. Again, this side might feel a little tighter or a little looser than the other side. This is perfectly normal as our bodies are built asymmetrically. Inhale. And exhale. One more breath in. And then exhale, bring your right foot back down to the ground, left foot back down to the ground. Bring your arms out to a T on the ground. Feel free to move any blocks or any obstacles out of your way. Float your knees up over your hips. Parallel your shins to the ground. Inhale. And then exhale. Let your knees drift to the left for a gentle supine twist. You can also, before you bring your knees over, scoot your hips a little to the right. This will help increase the twist as you bring your knees to the left. Turn your gaze to the right, past your right fingertips. Keep both shoulder blades glued to the ground. You always have the option to take this a little bit further, to reach your bottom leg, your left leg, towards the top of your mat with a nice straight leg. If you choose to do that, you can also take your left hand and gently rest it on the outside of your right thigh. Avoid your knee to protect your knee. One more breath in and out. Slowly bring both knees back up over your hips. Maybe recenter your hips if you took the hip shifting before tilting. So we're going to do the same thing other side. So you have the option to shift your hips a little to the left. Float your knees up over your hips. Flex your toes towards your face. Parallel your shins to the ground. Then send both knees to the floor. Mindful of any audio equipment. Turn your gaze to the left to look up past your left fingertips. Option to stay here. Option to reach your bottom leg, which is should be your right leg, towards the top of the mat / front of the room. The option to take your right hand and place it on the outside of your left thigh. Avoid your knee, protect your knee. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, slowly bring your knees back up over your hips. Curl up in the smallest ball you can, forearms around your shins, forehead up towards your knees. Inhale, squeeze everything nice and tight. And then exhale, final resting posture, corpse pose, Shavasana. So let your legs come down, feet splay wide, arms can rest at your sides, either palms up or down. Up to you. Nothing to do, only to rest and be. Feel free to stay here as long as you wish. Feel free also, if you need to move on, to wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, roll out your ankles, roll out your wrists, draw your right ear to the mat, and then your left. Take a nice long morning stretch, full body stretch. Reach your fingers to the wall behind you, toes to the wall in front of you. Float your knees up over your hips and then roll onto one side, either side. For fetal position, use your bottom bicep like a pillow. Allow Shavasana to mark the end of this chapter of your day, and let fetal pose begin the next chapter. Try to keep your eyes closed, press yourself up to a seat facing the front of the room. Draw your hands together, heart center. Inhale and exhale. Inhale your thumbs up to the point between your eyebrows, connecting your heart to your mind. In honor of the practice and into each other, bow forward. Om. Namaste. All right, I want to thank everyone who came for class. If you have any questions, any feedback, things that you liked, things that you didn't, please reach out to me. We can talk about it. You can also post them as a comment on here, and I'll answer what I can. As usual, today is a suggested donation of $10. If you have it to give, that's awesome. I will post my Venmo in the comments. If not, that's totally fine too. I totally understand. For those who wish to do a private lesson, a one-on-one call where I guide you through a flow that is tailored to you, your body, and your body's capabilities, reach out to me. Those are $30 for the hour lesson. And yeah, hydrate, drink lots of water. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I hope to see you Wednesday. Namaste.